Welcome. This is Trash and Talk. I am Wayne, the garbage man Owen. I got Kurt, Big Daddy Goetz with me.
What's up?
Today we have a special guest, a buddy of mine, and now of Kurt's, Mike Burns, a retired fire department of New York City worker. How you doing today, Mike?
Not so bad, not so bad.
Good. Well, welcome.
Thank you
Welcome
you
to
guys.
Trash and Talk. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
brother.
I'm glad. This is something I was looking forward to doing. Really wanted to see the cave. I love it down. This is awesome.
It came along well. It came along nice, and we're still just trying to get into having people come on. Like we said, our first thing was business, like people in businesses or jobs that people want to know about. Not every day you get to sit and talk with a fire department guy from anywhere, let alone New York, where the big city, where it takes a whole different level of the job. We're in Jersey now, and they have what do you call them out here? The volunteers, where it's a totally different job. Where it was nothing like that for FDNY.
The big cities have, like, I think Newark has a regular fire department, right? Or,
Some
of them.
Newark, Elizabeth,
Yeah.
the Patterson, Trenton. A lot of them have paid,
Yeah.
but then bordering volunteer.
Yeah,
We had a
right,
lot
those
of
things.
volunteer firemen in New York too. There's 2 companies on Staten Island,
Yeah.
and
those are old
half of the guys in Brooklyn and in Queens are volunteers in Long Island.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, which causes a big problem for the union guys because these guys come to work and they cry for pay raises and then they go home and they do the job for free.
Yeah,
That's kind of a bite in the ass.
And that's half the problem with this. Some of these guys are fighting. The guys in the firehouse are doing it,
That's
the union
so
reps
crazy.
are always.
And we'll get into that because, we're going to get into the firehouse life. But we want to just start off by, we're Staten Islanders and where did you grow up and how did you then get into, like, I want to work for the fire department?
Okay, born and raised Staten Island. I was born, let's see, what would you say? West Shore, North Shore, Forest Avenue, and South Avenue.
Okay. So
So
you're North Shore.
Southgate is
Yeah.
what we call the neighborhood, but Mariners Harbor is the bigger end of it. That's the heart.
On the other
biggest
side
end.
of Forest.
On the other side, like
Yeah.
Cocadioro side, not Big Apple Bazaar side.
Okay.
Like if
Yeah,
you
you
know
would
all
know
those
Shore.
old terms, like
I forgot what we called where they lived, that development, that whole big fucking pocket.
I don't know. Southgate.
you guys called it Southgate too.
We
Okay,
always
'cause-
had the list of, like, how routes were named.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's what it was. Southgate.
Regal
for us.
Walk was at the top, right?
Regal Walk. Yep, that's
Yeah.
where we used to play football.
Yeah.
On that corner there when you get off the highway and South Avenue.
Yeah.
Yep.
That little hot. Now there's 3 huge trees up there. We played football there for years because the kids that I went to school with lived in there. So there was there, and then there was Ada, Regis.
Yep.
Yeah, Ada Drive.
And then Amity, and then Amador. I grew up. I lived on Amador, and then on the inside.
Heavy as shit.
Yeah. The
Those
good old
routes were
days.
fucking heavy, man.
The good old
They
days
were
of
the
picking
worst.
up Ada Drive.
Holy shit, they were.
But yeah, so you grew up on Staten Island like we did.
Yep.
So we have tons of Staten Island, stories. And it was just funny because I was telling Kurt, before you got here, he's like, how do you know him? And me and Mike, like, are the same exact age, but we never crossed paths at any time on
weird.
Staten Island.
That we remember.
That we remember, but I'm sure at a
100%,
bar
yeah,
or something,
yeah.
But we probably tried to fight each other at some point in
I
our
probably
lives on
see-
Staten Island.
I was
I'd
definitely
probably
standing.
find
I was
it.
definitely standing on a bar.
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
trying to get eye to eye with you.
Exactly.
But you know what it was too? I was a club guy,
And I was a bar
and
guy.
you were a bar guy.
And that's what we spoke about when we first met out here.
Yeah. So when I got older, got into the South Shore life because I was hanging out with all those South Shore guys that I
Okay.
DJ'd with.
Yeah.
And now that was all clubs and going out.
Well, plus you wound up going to Farrell. I was a Peters kid.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we all had different hangout areas.
Via
anyway,
Fidelis.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Via Fidelis. That's
watch
my
it.
son. I didn't go there.
Watch your fucking
Oh, you
mouth.
saw
My
him with
son
that?
went, yeah.
My buddy and his son had Via Fidelis
Did I?
tattooed on their arm.
I like that.
My old quarterback.
I thought
doing real good.
that school was great.
Mikey Caserta.
Oh, I thought you meant Gustavino. You weren't there when Greg was there.
Yeah, both Glenn and Greg.
Oh, Glenn. Okay.
But they were older than me.
That's right. Glenn was a year older. But
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about the Gustavinos. They'll get mad that we're talking about them. Yeah.
We already.
My brother was in the firehouse. My brother was 85.
We already destroyed Gus last episode.
So yeah, so like, all right, so typical, like we had said with the sanitation, it's a city thing. You live in New York area, right away you get into the comfort of having a city job. That's how we grew up on Staten Island. So was it the same way for you? Like, did you have family members in fire department? Like, what did you know about the job
Nothing.
that made you take the test and want to do it?
Nothing. It was the complete opposite because I went to Farrell, and Farrell was basically college preparatory. So you went to Farrell with zero intentions of working the city job because
civil service job.
Yeah, because they had said you're going to go to college and you're going to work in the city. You're going to have a big job. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. My family owned a huge multi-million-dollar moving company, and I did that since I'm 13, 14 years old.
Okay.
And that's what started me driving trucks.
Okay.
So I worked for them, thinking that I was going to be in the
In that
family business.
for a
You know what I
while,
mean?
yeah.
That was my grandfather.
Makes
That
sense.
was so it was my grandfather, my godfather, which is my mother's brother.
Your father was the godfather?
No, my grandfather owned it,
Oh, all right.
and then my godfather,
I thought he
which
was
is
in
my
movies.
mother's brother, and my mother's brother, he was running it at the time. Now he
Okay.
owns it. Actually, my cousin owns it now, so it's down third generation. But it just didn't work out that I was going to go into that family business.
But you had to have friends like you were from Staten Island that will
Nobody.
talk. Nobody ever talked about firemen, cops.
It was nothing like, and nobody. I didn't know.
Well, most of your friends from Farrell, like kids in the
They're all
neighborhood.
firemen.
No, the kids in the neighborhood.
Now they are. Yeah.
I'm talking about when you were growing up.
When I was growing up,
Yeah.
Southgate, nope.
Everybody, what was the main thing? Like, what was their?
Family businesses.
That
I
was
was
it,
I
stuff
was with
like
the
that.
I was with the Gambinos because that was
They're all derelicts.
they owned the bus service then.
Yeah.
So, but my best friend, his father, sanitation.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I knew.
Okay.
That's the only part of the business that I knew.
Okay.
That side. But he never talked about that because he put his son to Farrell and then
So he didn't
pushed
have to
him out.
do that job. Yeah.
Pushed him
yeah.
away from that.
Yeah, which,
like,
listen, that's
told
what,
him take the test for the side, and he's like, "No, I don't want to do it."
and that's what, unfortunately, there were parts to it like that where you did have people, no, don't do that, do this. And the market, like you had said, I think you said earlier that you worked in the stock market.
Yeah, and I think
which
that's
that
what it
a
was
big
too. It was
push.
timing
For Staten Islanders.
Because remember, you're talking about the '90s.com
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
where everybody thought like city workers was trash. Like if you worked for the city, you were garbage. You had no
Yeah,
money.
Yeah, we dealt with that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when it crashed, everybody came back and they looked at us like we were millionaires.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were like, everybody's getting paid too much.
They want
This
the
is
job.
bullshit. Were you kidding me? They're getting paid double time on a Sunday in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when they wanted the job, when the market crashed.
Yeah.
I mean, you were probably in when I remember guys from high school that were in the market, and they were during that. What was that movie where they were? It was pretty much all the fake shit going on. Where and then those big companies got caught up, and those guys all did jail time. The bald head Vin Diesel was in it. What was that movie?
I
It
know
wasn't
exactly.
Wall Street.
No, I know exactly what it was. The whole churn and burn.
So they had all the young kids in there.
Yeah, Ben Affleck was in it.
Like writing tickets because this is before computers.
Yeah, it was all pump and dump shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember a lot of kids that I went to high school with were doing that as well.
Yeah.
If one or two are still in it, if that.
If they did well enough, they diverted.
Well, yeah, they did well enough so that they did move up and they followed the right people.
Yep.
Through that business.
Guys from Farrell.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys from Farrell did it. Still do it, but now it's instead of burning a book and having guys raise money and then them selling it all and then getting the commissions. Now they're into real estate, or now they're into real estate groups where these guys are putting out $400,000 or $500,000, but they're buying $8 and $10 million properties.
Yeah, and it probably that brought them into it. It gives you like I know a lot of
It
guys
takes
in
money
the
to
market.
make money.
Well, exactly. But I know a lot of guys that are in the market. They're talkers because they started at the bottom. They started on the phone. You have to know how to talk to people to get people involved to get their money. I'd hate to say it, like it's just realistic.
No, that's how I started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're calling random people and just you have to sell yourself.
Oh, it's horrific. I was a DJ, so I was able to speak to people. I was an MCA. I had no problem talking to people, but then making 400 or 500 phone calls a day, asking people for their social security number to
phone.
give you $1,000 over the phone.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I can imagine.
So now you take the test. What year did you take the test to be a fireman?
All right. So before I even took the test, so no desire, no thought process, none of this. So I was going to be working for my family, and then that was it. My cousin is now another fireman, retired, but this is pre that. We're at the gym. He's dating this girl whose father is a fireman, and the test is coming up. He tells my cousin, "You got to take the test." My cousin's like, "Why? You know, family. We got a family business. This is what we're gonna do. Just take the test. Just take the test."
It gives you an opening.
Tells him everything about it. My cousin starts getting intrigued. Now he's into it. Now he's like, "I don't think I want to do the family business. I don't want to do the 80 hours, 90 hours.
And busting
like,
your hump, man.
Yeah, I want to do something that I love." Like, he was into it. Like, instantly got him. So he comes to me and he's like, "I need you. You got to take it with me." I said, "I don't want to take the test." I said, "I got no desire."
Probably took the same test too.
Guilty by association.
Literally forced me to take the test. Forced me to take the test. I take the test. I do, in terms of the FDNY test, horrific. 91.
Oh, okay. I got a 68. I was sick as a dog. It was terrible. Because we probably took the same test. I think it was in 98. Or 97, 98.
No, I think mine was after, because I got on in 07. I didn't get on
he
until
was probably
29. I got on 02.
02.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because that took me 4.5 years to get on.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
sick as a dog.
Yeah.
02 was the
I didn't want the job.
You didn't want it.
No. I already knew I got 103 on sanitation.
Oh, so I
My
bought
mom was like, "You paid the $30. Just fucking go, you idiot." So I went. I was deathly ill. I was like, whatever.
You didn't care.
I just went through it and that was it.
Yeah. I didn't take it as serious as I should have, but it kind of worked out for me, because if I would have gotten called early, I wouldn't have been ready. And I
Probably would have passed it up.
I probably would have, because at that point I was done with my family at that time.
Okay.
And then I had went to the city, and I was kind of like
Making good money, probably.
making real good money for somebody who didn't have much out of college, you know. And then I was, wow, this is great. Everything was awesome. I bought my first house, 2000. Everything is good. I bought a house on the South Shore.
Okay.
Now I'm 22 years old. I own my house. I got a brand new car. I'm working in the city. Everything is going good. Then 9/11. And once 9/11 hit, everything changed. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to be a fireman. I saw those guys. I was running there during 9/11 to get a friend of mine's fiance.
You were working that day.
I was working that day. We were about 5-6 blocks away. I was on the 27th floor. Watched the second plane go by, hit the building, papers on the window, grabbed the girls in my bullpen. I was like, we're out of here. I was middle office equities for Societe Generale.
So that would make you, what, like 24, 25?
What was that? I'm 78. I was 23.
23. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought my first house 22. I was 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah. And I just grabbed the
And
girls.
that whole situation made you say, "This is what I want to do."
Yeah, saw it, and I was like, wow, this is nuts. And I already had had the test lined up.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I took it, and it still didn't sit right. Like, I was like, I kind of like yes and no.
Well, the pay
pushed
cut.
it back a little bit.
The pay cut. I mean,
Pay
if you
cut's
were doing what you're saying.
Well, that's the problem. I lost that job. And then I went back to work for family again.
Oh, okay.
But now
so you stopped working in the market.
I got laid off after 9/11.
Okay.
My office just kept getting downsized.
Okay.
So by
That's what happened to
02,
a bunch of my friends too.
by 02, it was kind of, I was done.
Well, they were switching to computers at the same time too.
Plus,
so
all the
everything was
clerks
going.
lost all their jobs.
I was already
changing
computers
already.
because I was working middle office equity. So all I was basically zeroing out accounts
Okay.
for the actual brokers. So I didn't trade, and I didn't do any of that
You
stuff.
were burning all the evidence.
Yeah. No, I worked for a huge French bank, Societe Generale. I worked for a legit firm, thinking like, oh, this is good. I saw these brokers and I saw these guys, but after 9/11, they started laying guys off. I was like, no, I need security.
Yeah.
And exactly, and that's what you're going to get with the fire department.
Exactly.
Like you said, it came probably at the right time, perfect timing with what was going on, the job you had, the changes on that. Now you needed security.
Yeah.
Because now you have the bills with the house, like you said. And were you starting a family then?
No.
You weren't married yet.
No.
So you have the benefit of being single.
But now the problem was, that was 02. I didn't get on until 07.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, fire department's out because it takes forever to get on. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm saying to
Kind of
myself,
forget about it.
yeah, I'm saying exactly.
You're
I'm
in your
saying to
hustle.
myself, I guess I'm going back to the family business.
Yeah.
So I go back to the family business, and I can't get in because it's not my family. It's diverting away from my part of the family tree.
Okay.
So my mother never worked there, so I'm not. So now it's my uncles and then his kids, which is
So you're battling.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, so I'll work for you, and then I wound up having my own crew and truck within his business, which would allow me to make the most there at the time.
Okay.
So then I had my own truck. I had one crew. I had 2 trucks. I was renting his trucks.
So
It was
you're
good.
hustling.
I was working. Everything was
Yeah,
going
you're
good.
hustling, man.
Making
It's-
a boatload of money, and had sold that first house. That allowed me to try being a stockbroker, which I knew I wasn't going to do. So that's why I was going with family, and it was everything was working out with my girlfriend, who's now my wife,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, she's a great person, by the way. I know her personally.
Erica. Good people.
So when did you get the call?
I got the call. So this is the problem now. I was looking for the call. So now it's getting to the point where I'm like, yo, dude, this is crazy. My cousin got called the year before. I'm like,
And
why
for
am I not
everyone,
getting called?
and real quick for everyone out there that don't know, there's certain time frames of how long a list will be
Yeah,
for
before it
these
dies
city
out.
jobs. Before now, they take another test, and now that list that Mike was probably on could get thrown out, and then Mike will have to take the test over and then get on the list again. So there's a window. Like sometimes it's 3 years when they're hiring a lot, but then because they have to hire a lot of number off lists, the city has to do that per list.
Yeah, with us, it was usually like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So ours was, and like,
Same thing.
yeah, it was about the same thing. But when they hired a lot of guys, like with us, when a lot of guys left, it was, it was probably the same
Those
thing.
numbers went much higher.
The numbers went so fast that they were like, all right, we're going to give a whole nother, because they don't, I hate to say they don't want to bring dummies on the job, but when you're getting into high numbers on the list, what are you getting?
Yeah.
You know, when you're digging down into the 70s, like if I got hired at a 68 on fucking fireman, I probably can't even tie my shoes.
What was your list number?
Or the fireman?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know.
Okay, what was your list number with Santa? Do you get list numbers from DCAS?
Yeah.
348.
348.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
103.
Mine was 371. I had the same score.
Same everything. All right.
Same score.
So the top-
at that point it goes by the Social Security.
Yeah, I think it was the top
Oh,
5 or 6
okay.
Not
guys.
age.
Last
Social
four of the
Security
social, because you got the
number,
same everything.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I
Gotta
think
get
it was, with our test, I think it was the top, say, 200 guys got like 105 to 103.5. That's what we got.
Yeah,
103.5.
Yeah.
And you get the 5 for being a resident, blah, 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 blah. But then from our 103.5 down to, I think, 103, it was like 600 guys. So it just went to Social Security number.
Yeah.
And it was the start of the number where now you got pushed back. So, like, it was a big deal with us because, like, oh, I got you beat. Yeah, fuck you, because, you know,
It's tough
you gave
because that's
birth at this
seniority
time
and that's months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's money.
Oh, yeah.
It's money.
Oh, yeah.
Making the truck on our job a little differently. It's making the truck.
Truck. How you getting on?
If I don't make the truck on MLP that day, at the time it was say $50 a day just to be on the garbage truck.
Just
Yeah.
to be touching.
Yeah, now
Or
it's
that.
70s, right? 75 a day
$70,
just
yeah.
to touch garbage. You know what I mean?
So
So,
you-
so that hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a big difference. But
So it's a huge difference.
so you're 25.
So now wait, so now I'm starting to panic because now I want this job.
Yeah.
Now this is
and the
all I
calls aren't
have.
coming.
My list number is 4,600. My cousin's list number is like 20-something hundred, and he got one question more right than me. I get involved with DCAS. I call DCAS. I says, I just am trying to figure out the discrepancy here. Come to find out, I never got my residency credit.
Oh shit.
So I lost
That's a
5
big
points in 2000. They were like, how come you never said anything? He says, I didn't know. You gave me a
Yeah, how
list
do you
number.
know if you mark that little box?
Yeah.
Because that's all it
And
is.
that's
the
what they
small
told me.
box. You missed the box.
I didn't check the box. I says, listen, I got no problem with that. Just send me that piece of paper showing that I didn't miss the box. They were like, well, we don't have that. I said, so then
Where's the proof?
why is it not you guys made the mistake? If I submitted a driver's license from New York, where I lived my entire life,
Yeah.
I'm a fucking resident.
with my address is Staten Island my entire life, why is this my issue that I'm going to lose out on a job because of this?
And that's it's a
listen.
big deal.
And you know the people from DCAS,
Listen, I got a problem, big problem right now. With my friend's son getting on sanitation. They're telling him that it's a 21-year-old kid. He's excited, right? He's getting called. He's supposed to go in Friday. They call him up. He did all his paperwork, everything. Everything's done. Payroll, everything. They call this poor kid up and they tell him, now DOT runs the CDL, right? They handle your CDL.
Okay.
Right? You have a New York State CDL license. DOT oversees it. It's federal. It's because of the drugs and everything else to regulate the license. They tell him, DOT is telling the Department of Sanitation, we don't see him in the system. Now this kid goes
And they got you by the balls.
goes to DMV,
Because they don't make mistakes.
has DMV give him the abstract that he has the CDL, that there's no restrictions on
You
it.
need a CDL before you become a
Yes,
Sandman.
yes,
Okay.
Changed all that,
yes,
yeah.
they changed it. Now this poor fucking kid goes to DMV to have all the information. DMV goes, it's not on our end, it's on their end. Now they're calling. Now you got to remember
That's the
something.
way they are, though.
He's nobody.
No, they don't care.
He's nobody. He's not on the job. Union can't help him. He's nobody. So now this poor fucking kid who's getting penalized for doing nothing wrong might end up not making this fucking class because of their fuck up.
Yeah.
Right? Now, they're saying there's going to be a class in October. I hear rumblings through people I know that October class might get canceled and pushed to July. Now you're talking about a kid that quit his job because they told him he was going in this class.
Yeah,
now this
now
is
he's
DCAS. They don't give a fuck because they're lay people. They're civilian workers for New York City. They're not fire department when you were going for. They're not sanitation what this kid's going for. They
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. They
And
go,
we're
oh
gonna
well,
make double or triple of them,
oh well.
and they care even less.
Like you're saying, like they
Oh, yeah,
didn't
they
care.
don't care.
Like you're saying, they didn't care. You're telling them your problem. They don't want to hear it. They don't get, and that's what this poor kid's going through right now.
I
I
can
was on the
hear
phone
her.
with his father and his mother all day.
Yeah.
I felt horrible.
I can
Making
hear
phone
her.
calls, calling people.
Shrugging her shoulders.
Yeah, they don't. Sorry.
Not my problem.
$7,000.
So
I hired
then
a
what
lawyer.
happened? What came about?
I go and I get a lawyer because now it's getting towards the end of the list,
Yeah.
and
You're
I'm
gonna
like,
throw the list
No,
out.
I'm not
I'm
gonna get
done.
fucking fired.
I'm not even
gonna
gonna
get hired.
And I'm approaching 27, 28.
Yeah.
20, I'm like,
What was it,
oh,
30,
this
right?
is tough now.
And there's a number.
Yeah, and there's a number. That's to take it again. I got to take the test again, and I can't take it again now. So now I get the lawyer. The lawyer's like, "We got a case, man. You had the license. You've had it here. You're born. You're raised. We're good.
Yeah.
They keep postponing. I gave the guy a $7,000 retainer. They call me. Your list number's coming up. I said, okay. I'm second to last class of that entire list. So I called my lawyer. I said, listen, I didn't need you. I got it on my own. Thank you. I said, just send me back the money since we didn't go to court.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything. He sent me back like $2,000. He's like, the rest was phone calls and faxes and emails. I'm like, all right, $5,000.
Yeah, I know that bullshit.
Eat it, whatever.
Yeah, what
I
are
got
you
on
gonna
the job.
So how old were you?
I got on the job. I was 29.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were right at that cusp of
Couldn't take it
missing
again.
the number. Yeah.
You could get on older.
Yes,
but
you can't take it before you're 30, right?
Yes,
It's 30,
everything's
right?
different now. I couldn't even tell you because I was a recruiter too for the fire department. So there was all different stuff. Like now, then we had to have college credits when I took it. Now you don't have to have anything. You know,
You had to have,
you had to have a
2 years,
job.
right?
Like the last thing when I was recruiting is you just had to have a job for 6 months.
Yeah.
And a high school diploma. It might even have been GED. I don't even know. I can't even remember right.
But
Yeah,
real quick, I wanna ask a question. So you were never really in the beginning. You didn't want it. Remember when you were talking about
No.
with your cousin?
No.
So when you went to take the test, when you physically went to take the physical, did you train before that, like jog?
Nothing.
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 You were already a gym guy. You were
My
in shape.
whole life.
So
Yes.
you really had no worry in your head. Like some people
No.
get. You know how some guys are. You see guys at the gym with the pack on,
Panic.
with the weight
The stairs,
on the
yeah.
stairs.
I was never a runner.
Okay.
You know, my body was built for power, not
Yeah.
for speed, and
Yeah,
I
I
was just
hear
like that was not my
I
day.
hear you.
So I did 2 weeks before the physical because I was moving furniture. So I
Okay.
figured if I can move furniture all day,
Yeah.
I'm good. 2 weeks before the physical, I ran on the treadmill 1.5 miles every second, third, fourth, fifth day if I had energy after
Okay.
work. And I was like, gosh, that should be fine.
All right, that's it.
Yeah. But also I got that crazy competitive, I don't like anybody beating me thing.
I hear you.
So I went in and
So now you want to break records.
and
Crush
do
it.
everything I could. And I was basically just trying to stay alive at that point. The run really hurt me.
Yeah.
I was tough.
That's
was
up at
tough.
Randall's, right?
Yeah. So no, but to take the physical, we had to do the Stairmaster.
Yep.
Yeah, but the run was like first day of the academy,
Oh,
and that can
okay.
get you kicked out. If you
Okay.
don't do I think it was 13 minutes, 1.5 miles first day, they literally tell you, "Thank you, have a good day." And
Wow.
they have like a pace guy. And this was a crazy. They run it's like a mile and a half lap, one big lap.
Yeah,
on
around Randall's
Island.
Yeah.
And they have their pacer. They have one that runs ahead, and then one that runs the mile.
13 mile.
That 13 minute.
That 13 minutes.
Yeah. So as long as you were ahead of him, you're good. There was a Navy guy running with this guy, bullshitting with him, talking to him. He thought he was good. He was just. The guy ran like a 5 or 10 second too slow of a pace.
Done.
They put the kid on a bus and sent them away.
Wow.
They're like, dude, that's not on me. You told me this your pace. They're like,
Yeah.
we told you to do your best.
Yeah, because we saw you guys.
Yeah, we
not
used to
you per
train
se, because we got on earlier, but I remember they're teaching us like how to lift fucking metal cans, and you guys are fucking running in circles. I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't take that fucking job. Like, I got no need for that shit.
It's not for everybody, man.
Now
No,
try
You gotta
doing
be
it.
willing to give yourself up.
And they screwed us too, because when Bloomberg came on, he wanted that whole equality thing. So then they bumped our academy
I
up.
remember that.
Yeah.
So now, if the police department's going to go for 6 months, you know what? Fire department's going for 6 months. We're like, wait a second. Police department's got a penal code that's 6 inches thick.
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's
they
a
gotta
totally
learn.
different thing,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's like, come on.
It's like
You
going
gotta-
to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say, like, it's, you know, oh, you're just fighting fires. But it's like, these guys have to, you got to make sure they're all right with guns and with people. And that's totally different. And I remember when Bloomberg did that. That's a different whole. What are you going to stay at Randall's Island, just run in circles for 6 months? What the fuck are you going to do?
We moved blocks and bricks from one pile to the other
Yeah.
and back. We painted the curves. By the time we left, the paint was 3/4 of an inch thick. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Pure stupidity.
They would be like, all right, you got to go somewhere. We would hide.
What was it like training in that building?
So we had a city, like a little mini city inside.
Yeah, I
there.
remember that.
So,
Yeah.
That they would start the fires in.
Yeah, so there was a burn building.
Yeah.
Then there was a simulated high rise. Then there was like Sesame Street, which was a big like steel building that had 2 huge bay doors on the sides that the fire trucks would drive into. And then it was like a stage set on the inside. And then it was different types of buildings from the inside. So you would drive up the street inside, and then you would look on the left, and there would be a 2-story, and then a 3-story, and then there's a fire escape, and there's 3-window front, there's 4-window front.
Oh, so they're getting you ready
Yeah.
for every
possible
scenario.
Because
But
everything that I just named you says something to me about the inside.
Yeah.
So if I look,
what to expect?
yeah, so if you go up to the front of the building and I see, if you guys know brownstones, you see the stoop. The stoop goes up, and then you see the stairs underneath. You're like, okay, what's that? That's first floor, polar floor, second floor, third floor. So like, I know what that inside looks like because I know how those buildings were built.
Yeah.
Next building over, you're looking at a storefront. You're like, all right, a storefront. But then I see a door all the way to the side. Like, okay, that's going to be stairs that are going to go up to the apartments above.
it. Yeah.
If I see 3 windows in the front, then I'm assuming that it's apartments front or rear or full, or for a full floor. If I see 4 and a door in the middle, I'm assuming the stairs go up the middle, and then that's an apartment on the left and an apartment on the right. That might run railroad or cuts halfway through. So there's all those things that
The scenario setups that you need to kind of know.
But being a guy that never did it before.
nothing, especially from Staten Island, you know where we're from.
Yeah,
Every house was the same,
Yeah.
and every house was different.
You walk into that, but you're like, what the fuck? Like, were you scared?
No,
Not at all.
No.
No fear of it.
I was old. I watched all these kids, 21, 22 years old, getting nervous. I was past nervous. I was 29.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My wife was pregnant with
Yeah.
my first. I was on
It
my
was
second.
more of a need.
I had my second home that I was redoing a kitchen renovation at the house. They had screwed up the cabinets twice, so I had no kitchen the entire time my wife is pregnant, and I'm in the academy. I'm 29 years old.
Oh, shit.
I'm supposed to be studying every night.
I hear you.
So were you more excited then to get the job, or it was just
Now all
like,
of a sudden I'm
really,
like, this is
relieved?
awesome. Like, I love this.
relieved?
This
Oh,
is
that's
to me-
awesome.
I used to call myself a professional athlete.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting paid to work out. Like, I loved it. I went in at 220, 222. 222 pounds, 5'9", 222. I was like, that was it. I was like, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna be shredded. I came out. I was 224. That's
So
like
they do much.
gain weight.
Yeah.
But I ate and I trained.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to train while I was working,
Yeah.
moving furniture. I was
You were
working
shot.
12 hours a day. This was me working out. You know what I mean? I came out. I was doing, 150 push-ups straight.
Yeah.
You know, I was never great.
Plus the up and down the stairs when you're training.
Yeah,
all
my
that shit.
legs. I was
Your
in
heart is like
great
with
shape.
the tanks on.
I felt, yeah.
Your heart gets like it takes that and you forget it.
We had this thing called FST, Functional Skills Training, which was like an obstacle course for firemen, which was awesome, so cool, but crushed you, like your lungs, and you had to do it on air. So you would throw all your gear on, you had your cylinder on your back, you throw your air on, and then, if I can remember order of events, you would go up and down the stairs, then you would drag line up and down stairs, and I think that was 3-4 flights. Then you would have to do something which carried 2 saws back and forth, and then you would hit something, and then you would maybe climb a ladder up and down, and then there was another part where you had to do, it was blacked out, and you had to be down on all fours, and it was simulating being inside of an apartment, and you
like smoke and stuff, or
it was just black,
just black,
and it was
so like you'll hold it on, you know,
and you're not supposed to slide with your hands along the floor, because if you hit a 2x or if you hit a molding, you could stop and turn around thinking that's a wall. So you're supposed to run with your hand on a wall because you want to stay against a wall. You'll never get lost if you stay on a wall, whether it's right or left.
Yeah.
Just run that wall. Because if you get into the middle of the room and you go back, you don't know where you went back to. So you run that wall, slide that around, come in, you find your holes. Okay, that's how we found our way out. And then it would progressively get smaller, and then you would have to slide the pack off, slide the pack through, and then come out the end. And that was where a lot of people had problems.
So you guys are basically set up for every situation when you come out of there. You're ready.
High-rise, private dwellings,
that's
H-types.
I never knew all that.
No.
I never knew all that. Like I have a lot of friends that are firemen. I've never really gotten to the discussion of with them like what I have you right now, the whole training.
Every fireman knows every position. So I was always a truck guy. So I came out of the academy, I was blessed to work with truck. So I started in 175 East New York.
Oh, that's a friendly place.
Oh, bowels of the earth.
Busy too, though. That's fucking busy as shit over there.
Best firehouse in Brooklyn. Best firehouse to learn. Literally went to work almost every other day. Like literally, you did something.
Yeah.
They weren't always, pull up, people out the window, fire blowing out the roof, but you did something.
Always something going on.
And I had phenomenal senior men. My senior man, Mike Burns.Mike, like I still call him on his birthday. He's been retired 8-10 years. I've been retired 5 years, and I'll send him text messages and like how he shaped my fire department career, because you guys do hazing in the sanitation?
No, not like that.
Okay, so we did a lot of hazing, not hazing like beat you, more hazing like embarrass you, more hazing like
busting chops.
Humiliate you, busting chops.
Well, that's like what we said. When you're in a firehouse, like a frat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you break each other's balls.
But there's a difference. The frat doesn't know why they do it. They just do it because the other guys laugh.
Yeah.
Fire department does it for a reason. And when I found out the reason, everything changed for me. So I went there and I'm like, I'm fucking 29.
Yeah.
I got a fucking newborn at home.
Yeah,
Stop talking shit. So one day they said, "Who's the kid?" And I was like, "I'm not a kid." And they fucking tore into me. They're like, "Dude, you barely have fucking diapers on.
You're a newbie.
Like, you're new. You're a fucking probie. You're nothing. You're trash. You're garbage." And I was like, "Whoa, dude, I'm a fucking man." And this was a kid who was younger than me.
Yeah, but you gotta
talking
put that,
shit
you
to
gotta
me.
put that shit
Put
to
it
the
to the
side.
test.
And I did. And I was old enough to realize what it was all about. It's all about preparing you for pressure. So if you wake up in the morning, you worked last night, right? So you were up the latest because you couldn't go to bed unless, you really didn't get to go to bed. You didn't try to lay down until everybody else was gone.
Yeah.
Because you do the final cleaning of the kitchen, empty the dishwasher, put everything away. Then you try to lay down, hoping that you could get an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours straight. Because East New York, you have no idea.
Yeah.
So now that's what you're hoping for. You're also the first one up because you got to make sure when the guy gets up, he's got a fresh pot of coffee.
Yeah.
So whoever's going to be, you got to be the first guy up, last guy up.
It's a newbie thing.
Yeah,
You're
it's
a rookie,
cool.
that's what you got to do.
And I was fine with that. But then it was like the screaming and yelling to, why is there dishes in the sink? Why is there no fucking coffee? What's going on here? What are you doing here? Guys are fucking starving. You didn't make any eggs. And then I'm getting flustered the first couple of days. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing?
Preparing you for being ready.
Now all of a sudden,
Not just
somebody puts it to me and they're like, why the fuck do you think they're trying to turn you in 6 directions? You don't think when you get to a job, you're gonna get turned in 6 directions?
Yeah.
You gotta know what the fuck your job is. Get there, do that first before you can move on to the second.
If you can't handle cleaning the fucking bathroom, you're gonna save my life when you're with me in this fucking fire, or you're gonna fucking crumble.
Yeah.
When the shit hits the fan.
Do one thing at a time and finish it.
That's totally makes sense.
Yep. And every fireman knows every position on every rig that's in your firehouse. That's engine, truck, you know them all.
Which they should.
Yeah.
But like now,
life or death. Man.
Yeah, but now
yours,
you're with these guys. But is it also like, is it to see if you're gonna fit in with this crew? Because I know the firehouses, from what I know from guys on the job, they're tight. They're tight knitted. Like you're for the most part, I'm sure there's different things going on, but they want to see if you're one of them. They don't want, from what I understand, and I could be totally wrong, but this is the way I take it. Talking to my brother-in-laws and stuff like that, like if you just don't get along with guys, if you're gonna fight oh fuck that, I'm making you coffee and that, they don't want you there.
That's more the fire department than it is a house, because I heard this and I've said it 1,000 times. It's the same circus, different clowns.
Yeah.
And all that is different firehouses.
Yeah.
They're all part of the same circus, but they're just different faces.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to a different firehouse, and it would run differently. There would be, this guy would do it stricter, this guy would talk differently, these guys were screamers, these guys just let shit slide. But it's really all the same fucking guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We went to Catholic schools. Every class you went to, whether it was the same guys or not, it was all still guys fucking fucking around and who's throwing shit at each other.
Doing drugs,
Same shit. You know what I mean? That was all, and it didn't matter where you went, it didn't matter what it was all the same. And that was the fire department. If you didn't fit in at one, more than likely you weren't going to fit in at another, because that's the fire department mentality.
Yeah.
And if you were a loner, a little bit of an outcast at the firehouse, but you were exemplary on the fire ground, shit went down, and they were like, yo, we got him. He's got this.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're good with it.
Yeah. Somebody's got to get the roof, because it's super important to get the roof, because we have to ventilate, because we got to let the hot air out so that when we put the water on the fire, it doesn't keep that hot air inside, and it's going to go up and it's going to go out, so we put the fire out.
And as long as you're good at that part of it, you could then lack in other ends. Yeah, you could lack in other ends.
Some shit gets off.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like if it was me, and me and you were going in, and you're the guy that's not fucking.
I would have never been able to do it.
I'm just saying, you're the guy that's fucking giving a hard time.
I would have been like, come on, fat ass, get out of my way. I've been busting balls the whole time.
Have you ever been in a fire? Have you ever been in a fire and the guy next to you were like, fuck? You were like, fuck, is this guy got my back? Well, it was always, you always had a clear head. You were like, I'm good. Everybody I'm with.
Never thought about anybody else giving me a problem.
So speaking about that though, real quick, and then we'll get into that part of it. Like, just do you remember that first day, that first bell,
first fire,
that first fire?
Oh yeah.
Like, what did you feel?
It was crazy because I wasn't even working yet. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
I wasn't even working yet. So when you're in the academy, last couple of days you get your assignments. Everybody gets their assignments. Look at this.
Yeah.
So now you get your assignments, and
he's got goosebumps.
I'm going to I'm going to 175 truck. 175 truck is notorious for knowing their shit.
Okay.
I have a hook. Everybody knows what a hook is. Your hook is the guy that puts you in the better spots.
Yeah.
And my hook was Mike Burke from Danino's, another phenomenal guy. And he put me there, and
he's like, pizza on Staten Island, by the way.
Yeah. In Jersey.
Yeah, he's in Jersey too.
Yeah, some of the best. And he's like, dude, you're going to be good. They're going to go to work. They're going to teach you. He's got a great...
And they'll be busy for the most part. Which, real quick, I never realized, like, to me, like, they I don't know. I don't even know how to put it, because when I ask guys, like, oh, how's your house? Oh, it's fine. It sucks. Why does it suck? Oh, because it's very boring. There's nothing going on. It's slow. Like, I didn't realize, like, you guys want to be fucking in it.
Yeah.
So you don't care about being up all the fucking time.
And I started the academy the opposite way. I was like, I'm going to have multiple jobs. I'm going to keep my movement thing on the side. My guys are going to run that business.
The hustle.
Yeah, and I got it. That's going to be good.
New York hustle.
Halfway through the academy, I'm like, nah, dude, this is my shit. This is what I want to do.
I want to be in it.
So when I originally talked to Mike Burke, his firehouse was the firehouse that we were talking about in Port Richmond.
Okay.
Because that was right around the corner from us.
Danino's,
but he also started in Brooklyn. He actually went to Brooklyn after that. He was in 147, which is another tiller. and that was another phenomenally good firehouse. And that was like the brother-sister firehouse for 175. We
Okay.
were both tillers, and tillers are Chuck and Larry, where you drive in the back.
Yeah.
So that was like,
Got the little guy in the back that's turning it around the corners.
exactly, because the streets were so tight.
Yeah.
So we wound up, I had said to him, listen, I hope it's not too late. I know I asked you to be on Staten Island because I wanted to be close so I could work more on the side. I said, but dude, I love the job. He's like, I knew you were going to get like this. He goes, I didn't say shit yet. He goes, I got you, don't worry about it. So I was like, oh, awesome. And so he was the one who got me to a busier firehouse after I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be slow.
Yeah,
Like if I'm going to be working 100 hours a week, I got to go to a firehouse where I can
you
sleep.
want a little sleep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like we say all the time, we both started in Manhattan. Total different job than Staten Island.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different job, right? Now, for me, if I'm thinking fire department, where you are, you're busy, you're learning the job, you're learning fucking pressure,
The ins
right?
and outs.
Pressure. It's all fucking pressure, how to deal with that, right? Now, Wayne comes out of class, goes straight to Staten Island. I come out of class, I go to where you went. I'm learning all this crazy shit in buildings and this and that. This guy's going to fucking cars on fire on the highway.
Yeah, that's like the craziest part.
So,
of Staten
do you know what I'm
So
saying?
is that like, so then when the Staten
When you
Island
came to
guy,
Staten Island, like, are these guys as, not to say gung-ho, but are they fucking ready? I understand they came from other places, but the kid that came from, got hired and went straight to Staten Island, is he equipped and in his mind ready for what the fuck you learned? Because it's two totally different jobs.
Two totally different jobs, and it's also too because of the structures. But I was
Go to
blessed
house fires,
that I
buildings.
went to 79, and I got to taste the house before I transferred. So I started in 175. 175, super busy house. Everybody wants to be there, so there's extra guys on your roster. What do you guys do if
Yeah, you
there's
get out of
extra
town
guys?
to another garage.
They send you to another garage.
Yeah.
Go detail for us.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going detail. Where you getting detail? Oh, I'm going here. I'm going there. I went to Brooklyn. I went to
Yeah,
Staten Island.
same
I was
thing.
and it was cool.
So
Okay, I
you're
got to see
floating
different
around.
firehouses.
Yeah.
And that was also like a day off of chores because I'm a guest.
Yeah.
And if I went out of borough,
so you don't
they
got
brought
to
me to
cook,
meet
you
him.
don't got to clean, you don't got to do
nothing.
all
They
that.
don't let you. And I was like my first details I went on towards the end of being a probie. We went food shopping. I would fight for the bags. These fucking guys ripped the bags out of my hands, let the stuff go all over the floor because their company pride wouldn't allow somebody from a different firehouse
Pick
Do
up
their
the
job.
walk out of the grocery
I
store
got
with
it.
their
Yeah.
groceries.
I got
That makes sense.
And the
Pride,
fucking guy
bro.
came to me eye to
It's
eye. He's
pride.
like, "Don't you fucking embarrass me again." I was like,
Yeah, it's pride.
And
So
your
I had the pride of my
process is
company
No,
that
no,
I
I
wanted to
hear
show
you.
off.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to show off for my house that I was raised right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were doing the same for theirs. I was like, "Got it, you're the man." So
Yeah,
I just
I get
sat in the kitchen. Can I help? Can I help? Can I help? Can I
Yeah.
help? Knowing they were going to say no.
Yeah.
Just don't get in their way because they will push you over.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, cool, I'm good, fine, whatever."
Nice. So the bell goes off to that first fire.
Yep. Doesn't even the first fire, the first time. So now fires and runs are different. You know
All
what
right,
I mean?
so just all right. So let's do your first fire, your actual first
Actual
fire.
fire.
Yeah.
When you hear, because like you said, there's different things. So a run could be like explain it like a run is probably a car accident, somebody got hurt.
Everything.
It could
False
be
alarms, smell of
Yeah.
smoke
gas,
alarms,
Yeah.
going off.
water,
Exactly.
elevator.
Yes.
So my first
Sanitation worker passes out on the
fire.
street.
Your first fire, when you heard over the radio, like what's the call over the radio when there is actually a fire compared to a car accident? They all got numbers, I'm sure.
So yeah, everything's got a code, but
Yeah.
it all depends because the codes change when the first companies get there. So
Okay.
my first real big roof job where I cut the roof, fire blowing out of the hole kind of thing.
Yeah.
We knew it was a fire while we were driving there because it was getting transmitted. People on the second floor, fire blowing out the windows,
So what was that feeling?
Yeah.
Like in
What's
the
the
because
adrenaline like in the fire
I'm getting
truck?
goosebumps.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
being
So
in the
it's-
truck.
Oh,
like,
so it's
you're
it's
hearing this. It's
scene
not like
size
it's
up. So now it's like, get ready. How do I get ready? Okay, I gotta be strapped in. I gotta be buckled up. I
You're
gotta
checking
put my gloves
your stuff,
on.
your
Your
equipment.
gear is going on. Now
Yeah.
you're running in your head. You're like, okay, where are we? Where are we going? What type of building is this
Yeah,
going to be? I'm looking. They give us. They have computer screens front and back,
Yep.
MDTs, and we're looking what the building.
So you're learning on the way there, like what this building is.
What you going into?
Yeah, and a guy like Mike Perrone, my senior guy, he might even know that fucking address.
He's been
this
in
guy,
that, yeah.
he's been
If it's
in
a
that.
building, he's
He's
probably
been
been
in that area 27 years already.
Yeah.
So now he's been in that firehouse 20 years, and he started in the engine a little bit down the road. So this is his bread and butter.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, this block, it's going to be this and this. So these are our two options, and he's screaming that behind us. But we also do building inspection all year, every year.
So you're checking these buildings anyway.
So we're putting down notes. The scuttle ladder, which is like this metal ladder that goes to the roof on these flat roofs.
Yep.
It's in a hallway. They put a door in front of it. They made it a closet. You got to open it up. So like with stuff, that stuff is going to be in those notes on that MDT.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting kind of a scene size.
So you're getting the info
See, I
on the
never knew that
way.
either.
Yeah.
I knew about the buildings because my uncle owns a repair shop,
And they came in.
and they come in.
Yeah, they always do that.
They do. They walk around the
Yeah.
perimeter to see where the back door is, what's blocking it.
Entrance,
You can't have
exits.
this. No, it's
But we can't go into private. But we can go into 3, 4, 5 multi-family dwellings. So we would go in, and these scuttle ladders, which would go to the roof, would be supposed to be in the hallway. But like, why is it not here? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we just did that. Or there's
Yeah, they do
bicycles
home
there,
renovations.
and stuff's got.
Yeah, they do home renovations.
Yeah.
This shit happens.
And that's how
Everybody's doing
that's
it.
how guys die.
Yeah,
and they move
unfortunately,
stuff
that's how
around,
guys
and they
die.
steal stuff out.
because you're going in blind.
Multiple means of egress. Yeah.
Now, this is all about you going in blind, knowing where's what.
And this is where that building comes into play
Yeah.
in the academy.
Follow the wall.
And
Yeah,
they're like following the wall. It's dark. It's hot. It's smoky. Stay low.
It's a lot of cool shit, man. I never knew about
Then
it.
it's 3 window front, 4 window front, like I had said before.
Makes you
Like,
appreciate
okay,
it.
I know if I go. So if I see that 4 window front and that stoop in the middle, and there's fire blowing out that window on the right, I'm not going to go into that window all the way on the left. That's a whole different apartment.
Yeah.
You kind of know from looking on the outside. You kind of know how
Yeah.
you're going to get there already.
Yeah.
Just from what you learned in the academy, what they taught you.
And everybody's got a position.
And like a guy that has the years on, and you got it, you probably learned that as it went too. Like we're talking about your first time, but as you had time on the job, got time on the job, I'm sure you had then, you were in this town, in this area for a while. Now you know the buildings. So it probably does get a little easier,
Oh, that was
While
terrible
you're
when I
there.
started.
Yeah, well.
I'm
because
sure
you-
everybody I
and
worked
that's the
with will
thing,
tell
is
you
it
that
like,
was
so
terrible
now
when I
your
started.
nerves hit, you're on the way there, and it's more of like what, now you get there. And listen, we know things when we watch TV. I know it's all sometimes bullshit,
Oh, you can't see anything.
but it's like, what I know is like, who's the first one to go in? Normally lieutenants or
So now it all depends because there's different. Everybody's going at the same time from different angles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're in the truck, which I always was, so you have an inside team and an outside team and a chauffeur.
Yep.
And so basically you have your inside team, which is the guy that's got the can, your 2.5 gallons of water,
Mhm.
and then you have the guy with the irons, which is the guy that has the axe and the halligan.
Yep.
And then you have the officer. Those are the 3 guys on the inside team.
They're first in.
They're going to that front door, right? They're going to go to that front door. That front door is locked. Officer takes a step back. The guy with the irons goes in. His job is to get that front door open. He gets that front door open. Now they go in. So now the officer and the can go one way. Say they go to the right. Officer says, we're going to the right. Stay with me. I got the can. Burns, you with me. We go to the right. We're looking for the fire. And then the guy with the irons goes to the left. He's looking for victims. So now he goes to the left. He goes along that left wall, and he's reaching out. With the tools, you could reach a whole room.
Okay.
Because if you're any wall from this room going around, if I touch the wall, and reach out with my tool,
You can
there's
hit
not
something.
going to be a spot that's missed
Yeah,
if I
you
go
can
all
hit
the way
something.
around the room and walk.
So that's not an iron. That's per se something else that you're like moving around, like a stick, a lighter. Like what do you?
No,
use?
you always have your tools. You never leave your tools.
Oh, so
No,
he's
what is
using
the
a
tool
heavier. I'm saying a
20,
heavier.
a 20, 30 pound. Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Because if they're down, you want to find them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if something you need your tools in there, because now there's locked doors inside. Teenagers,
Yeah.
SROs, single room occupancies.
Yeah.
So these people come in and they rent out 3 bedrooms. That was one.
Yeah, they got 13
They
people.
split it
What
up.
about people
Yeah.
that are deaf, or
Basements.
blind, that don't, autistic kids that can't communicate?
That
You gotta
high.
find them. Yeah. I get it, man. It's crazy.
Bunk beds, under
that's
beds.
blind
Sick
person.
shit.
You gotta find the
It's a lot
blind
involved,
blind
yeah.
place. Probably got the best chance of getting out.
Yeah, I mean, but unless he's sword fighting with the guy with the fucking iron.
And that's the other thing too. These guys, once they smoke, they're going down.
Yeah.
You take a big hit of that, you're going down.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
of
going
course.
down. And these bunk beds, you know, it's a matter of finding the rail. Once you get up, you're going all the way out, all the way across. You feel the rail, go straight up. Now you got to climb up top. You got to check that top bunk. You got to check
Yeah,
the
certain
bottom of the
areas
bunk.
they pound them in, man. Those people, they got the fucking people all over the place.
They don't have
Dude,
choice.
you know what I
That's
seen?
just
It was
the
the
way they
craziest
live.
thing I ever seen on my job. We did a raid. City did a raid on in Little Italy, Chinatown.
Yeah.
Right. So they come in with every organization there is. DP, this one, that one. We're just there to throw everything in the truck, right? So we're throwing in all this fucking food, all this shit that's on the thing, right? One of these cops grabs me and goes, "You want to see something crazy?" Takes me into the apartment, right? We walk in, and I look into one room, and like this is what you're talking about. Up along the wall,
It's just beds
boom,
on beds
boom,
on beds.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
plywood beds that all these cooks and
Yeah.
shit sleep on. Now you're going into that fucking apartment that's on fire. You don't know that there's that, like you're saying how you're feeling. For the next one.
If I grab that, eyes closed, and I don't get to that mattress because it's just a sheet of plywood. The mattress is 6, 8, 10 inches. I'm thinking bookshelf.
Yeah.
Especially I put my hand up.
Yeah.
Another 18 inches is another one.
These
I'm walking away.
These
And
were
this is where the
away.
inspections come in.
these
you
were
know?
makeshift
But I can't
beds.
get in there.
These
I
were
know that.
makeshift.
I'm doing hallways.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Crazy.
hallways, outside, and roof and basement. So I'm not even going inside.
That was the craziest thing that I ever seen. Like, and then now that you're saying that,
Different areas.
and I'm
have that.
thinking like with the fire department going into the fire, they don't know that there's these fucking shelves of beds. There had to be fucking 15 of them.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, nuts.
No.
And then what do? They block the windows because
yeah.
we need that space.
Yeah.
Now you have no way to get out.
Yeah.
And I remember living on Staten Island still. The guy across the street sold. There's some guy, bought this thing. He shows up, and like this family comes in. They got a van, whatever. I don't even want to bring up what they were, but they come in. They have all their luggage, all their furniture, all this with like 20 2x4s and 5 pieces of sheetrock. Because all they're gonna do is split the rooms.
Oh yeah.
So they could fit more people in the fucking room.
Yeah.
And this is what they do. And unfortunately, now that's a private home. You don't do fire inspections in private homes.
Nope.
You guys are doing that in Manhattan, in
No
Brooklyn,
idea what you're going
in,
into.
Queens, in buildings for the most part. Or
And you're
like
still
you
not
said,
getting into the
businesses.
apartments.
And yeah,
You're
you're
still not getting to the apartment.
not getting
And
into
at that
everyone.
point, yeah, that's
And
why
I hate to say it. Now it comes down on you guys, unfortunately, because God forbid somebody does die in a fire. Now they're like, oh well, what was the response time? Why did it take so long? No, when you go in after the fact, and sometimes it's gone because now it was a fire, it burnt out. You don't know what was in there. There could have been 15 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
5 guys jumped out of a building, Father's Day fire, out the 5th floor window.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
they got caught up.
Because the way it was, if I remember right, they had put up a fake wall, and then instead of having 2 ways to get out, the fire had trapped them in this room, and all they had was that one window. Whereas I guess the window over would have been the fire escape, but they had nothing. So they were trapped, and they were on the floor.
Fuck that! At that point, you got to get the fuck out.
They literally jumped out one at a time on top of each other into the rear yard.
These guys have no idea what they're going into. That's horrible.
And you're going in blind.
It's scary shit, man.
Smoke, the fire.
Listening to the transmissions of that on the radio, guys talking, they're jumping out the back window because now they're in a rear yard. We can't get a ladder up to them. It's the 5th floor.
And that's probably another thing where
the only ladder goes that high is the truck.
Like, would you think that's the most scary part of the job when you're hearing that? Whether it's man down, whether
floor collapse,
ceiling down. Like what?
The fire department
When do you get? Like, my question is like, when do you get scared on the job where it's like, fuck?
So the fire department is reactive, not proactive. So reactive to that situation, we had a PSS, a personal safety system. So we have this bag, we have this hook, we have this harness. So now I'm like, that shit will never happen again. I got this system. I train with this thing all the time.
That's what you think.
We do it in a firehouse. We do it here. I pop it out. I got my harness on me. I got my hook. I bury the hook into the corner of the window. I dive out the window. I hang. I lower myself down. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. When you get panicked is when you get turned around in a room.
Yeah.
And I saw it happen with a lieutenant of mine. Great guy, great fireman. Loved working with him. Him and I used to break balls constantly. And he got turned around and he did what he was supposed to do, which is the hardest thing on the fire department is give a mayday for yourself, saying, I'm lost. I'm trapped in a room. I don't know where I am.
Yeah, because now to that, is it more like, all right, he gets out, everything's
firefighting
fine.
stops.
But I'm saying, like, he gets out, he's fine.
He's worried about
being made fun of in the house?
100%.
Okay.
But he was above that.
Which is kind of shitty, but I get it.
Yep. He
Like
was
you
above
said,
that though.
frat house kind of
He
thing.
wasn't worried about that anymore.
No,
he
fuck that.
He never
At
was.
that
He was a
point,
different guy, and he was always worried about training us to do the right thing. So I could see him thinking, I can't do this.
If I don't get
because
out of
they
here.
might say this, but I could also see him, I have to do this so that they know,
They know
these
to
young
do that.
guys
Yeah,
know
it's
that
a learning
okay
thing to
to
do
do.
it.
And
It's also a learning
there was a
thing,
guy
yeah.
4 feet from him. When he heard the transmission, he banged on the wall. He's like, I found you. It was over within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But it could be that easy where the guy is right next to you. You start to get a little nervous, and that's what
And
happens.
you say, before I get more lost, before I start to panic,
Yeah.
let's go back and figure out what my
Yeah.
training tells me to do.
To stay ahead of it. And, you know, we didn't even talk about it, but like putting the oxygen on, there's so much now noise. Like there's so much going on. There's people, if they are screaming, there's breaking of things.
Saws, that's the last part. Saws and
so
water.
it's not like you could say, yo, Mike, I'm right here.
Nothing.
You're not hearing any of that.
It's
Your
always,
oxygen's on.
I'm going to hit the wall.
And you're caught
Bang,
with that mask
bang,
on.
Bang.
With that mask on, it's now a whole different thing. Like if people out there have never been on oxygen, like, and working through it, you're sweating, you got a shit ton of gear on, you're in a fire, like
100 pounds
all
of
that
gear.
now comes into you, and you get, I'm sure you get nervous.
But you got to
Like,
remember
what the
too,
fuck?
6 months in the academy, I wore that gear every day.
Well, to
8
get
hours
ready
a
for
day.
it. So yeah, so maybe
you get used to it. It becomes second nature to you as long as you're doing it every day. It's where people get a little bit more turned around, are the houses that do less, and that's where, like,
they're not doing it every day.
and I said in '79,
You forget what
these
you're
guys
on.
were fucking awesome. They all knew their shit. I didn't worry about any of these things over there, but they told me, they were like, listen, if we go this way, keep an eye out. Which I never had to think about that
Yeah.
in East New York, because East New York, Brownsville, these guys all around us, 103, 107, 120, 176, these guys all did as much as we did. So you didn't worry about that stuff.
Yeah. It was always on your mind.
Yeah.
It was every day you were on that. It's not like
And I
you
had to
say-
worry about me and my job. When you came out here, if you went to a slower neighborhood and shit was really going downhill fast, you had to worry about, are they getting what they have to get done? And is that going to affect your safety?
Yeah.
Which I wasn't used to.
Yeah, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Because you're not working with guys that do
I
this.
didn't know those guys.
Every
It's
fucking
fucking anxiety, bro.
Yeah.
You got to keep a level head, and like,
Yeah.
thank God you had the experience you had in Brooklyn. So when you come out here, maybe you do know a little bit more than them, is what I'm saying.
Have you ever had to, when you did come to go to Staten Island, did you?
Experience-wise.
Different.
Yeah.
Different. Because they knew more for those houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's what I mean.
I never wanted to seem like I went to more fires than you.
Yeah.
I did more than you. I know more than you. Because
Like a
it's possible I
cockfighter.
did it.
Yeah.
Because they call guys black clouds and white clouds, meaning like, you know, you go on the fire truck, you go on the garbage truck, you're going to pick up the same trash all the time. But you can go to the firehouse and never go to a job.
Yeah.
And then the guy that works right before you or right after you always stinks like smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way it goes. Just the way it goes.
So now, did you ever, when you did go to Staten Island and do those before you went there, full time, did you ever like take control of something? Like there was an issue where
No.
you were like, "Fuck this! These guys don't know what the fuck they're doing."
No, never.
Did you ever feel like, "Oh, I got to do this"?
Mm-mm.
All right.
No. Thankfully, you know what? So like I said, I was lucky enough to work there before I decided to go there, or before
Oh,
I
but
was
you would
asked
come out
to
of
go
town,
there.
like.
Yeah, so when I came out of town little by little by little,
Detail.
they would do a summer detail. So I did a full summer in Red Hook, worked at that firehouse. That was with my cousin. Awesome. I didn't work with him that much because our groups were opposite, but I loved the guys there. We had a blast. It was different. I learned a whole different style of building that I went into.
Oh, that's awesome.
Didn't go to many fires out there, but I learned stuff about
Yeah.
the buildings, the guys, how different firehouses work as not just a guest, because now I'm on a 3-month detail.
Okay.
So you're in the house.
90-day detail. Yeah, so now I'm their guy.
You gotta wash
I'm
dishes.
cooking, I'm cleaning,
Yeah.
I'm doing their shit, That's cool. They didn't want me to do as much. They were still traditional with that, but I still did
But if you're there
more.
for 3 months, you gotta play
You did
your part.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta play your part.
You made coffee and you made eggs, not
Yeah.
sat on sat and read a paper while you had your coffee.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had the opportunity to do the same thing. So now I had a specialty, special operations command support unit. So that's what my firehouse was in Brooklyn, and then the Red Hook Firehouse 131 was also that same thing, which means we had secondary apparatus that had different equipment for
Different
helping
situations.
rescue units. So if there was a collapse,
Okay.
we got called to help the rescue unit. We had a fire in Garrison Beach, and somebody had tied a girl up and tried to burn her, but from the fumes it exploded and it blew out the exterior walls, and it really did a lot to degrade the building.
The structure.
So the structure itself. So really what kept it is that it was a semi-attached house, so that other side is what was holding it up. So when we got there, after the fire was over and done, she happened to be a Jewish girl, so she has to be buried before the sun comes down. So the whole world stops for them.
Yeah.
They come in with a mobile command center,
My favorite people.
and they literally light up the block so that the sun doesn't set on this woman who was just killed. But she's got to be buried. We're like, we got to do an investigation. We got to get her out of here. You can't get all the people in to do the investigation because we got to shore up this building. But it's going to fall if you put 30 people on that second floor. So now they call in rescue and SOC support units, and basically I'm a runner.
Okay.
They're building shoring. So the ceiling is falling, they're putting up multiple 2x4s, they're nailing them together, they're putting trusses in there, they're putting all kinds of things to make this thing stable without moving it, so that people
So
can
that's
just
what I could have
act.
did on the fire department.
You
I
would
could have
have
came in and
loved it.
framed out and held
You
up
would
fucking
have
buildings.
loved it.
Like that's more my speed.
And then there's rigging involved, and then there's like, okay, we got to do a trench where these people are going. They fell in a hole, or they're in a confined space. They were cleaning out some kind of oil rig, and then they hurt, they fell. And
But those were guys on the job that would
Those
come
were
out.
rescue guys, yeah.
So they came out from the fire department and they would shore up the buildings and stuff like that.
They were firemen
Okay.
that had specialties.
Okay.
Yeah, like Rescue
I was
5?
a rescue
that?
fireman.
Yeah.
So I was a fireman who had the specialty to help them, which basically meant they would say, you're going to be in charge of the cutting station. Okay, we're going to send you over measurements. You're going to cut us that lumber and have a guy run that lumber
See,
into
I didn't
us.
know that.
I
Which
didn't know
we
any of
never
that
even
either.
we never even ran the cutting station. We were the guys who ran.
But I'm
the
saying
lumber back
that's
and forth.
good to
Yeah.
know. Like I had
Yeah.
no idea that happened. I thought you called like, Giuseppe's down the block and they, came by with their
Oh, no.
construction fucking build trucks and
Oh, yeah.
built you walls. I had no idea the guys did
So,
that
like-
on the job.
Facades of buildings start collapsing.
Shore them up.
We'll slap a rig right up on that. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Now, there's other parts of that job. Delivering babies. I wanted to ask this.
Nothing for me.
Never.
Nope. Nothing.
Ever in the firehouse?
Coolest thing that I got to do was like at the firehouse, like really random out of the loop, was cutting the ring off the kid's finger while it was still on him. We got to knock on the door, and it's hey man, can you help me get this ring off? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Your finger's all swollen. I'm like, go to the hospital, man. He's like, I came from the hospital. They sent me here. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, all right, I'm in East New York. I get it. They wanted nothing to do with him. It was a kid, played on, shoved his girlfriend's ring on. His finger was twice the size. So now I have tools on my rig to do that.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like a little, it's like a tool. It looks like a cutout of a spoon. It goes underneath, and then it's got a little
protect
wheel
the hand.
on it to protect the hand,
Yeah.
and then we just hand turn it and cut it off.
Yeah.
They give us to that. That never works. So now it's never the junior guy, me, that's able to do that. So like we got called 911, we show up, the guy that is in that specific position for that day gets assigned that tool.
Yeah.
But since I was working the house watch, which is the guy that answers the phones,
Oh,
and
and
the
you
guy that
answer the
sits,
door.
yeah.
You guys
Now I'm the guy.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, stay here, don't move. I run and grab the tools, and
It's
then
my
I
time to use the tool.
and then I tell the guys over the radio, hey, listen, I need a little assistance up front. I got a ring I got to cut off. So now that guy comes running out because everybody wants to use the tools and shit. So I'm like, no, fuck you guys. This is mine now.
Yeah.
So now I pull out what we call the whizzer. So you're talking about a compressed bottle of air, the same air that we use on the back,
Uh-huh.
hooked up to an airline. and a wheel.
It's an air tool. Yeah.
And now it's a wheel. It's a 2-inch
Cutting wheel.
A 2-inch cutting wheel. And I'm like, I'm cutting this thing off this kid's finger. And they're like, you better not fucking cut this.
Yeah,
kid.
can this guy play bowling again? Is
So I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. So we have a spoon.
Oh shit!
That we smashed out, took the bevel out of it, and we slide the spoon underneath the kid's hand to protect his finger. And I'm like, I'm gonna be a surgeon. I'm not getting any of this kid's finger, and I'm zipping through right little. I give him a little relief cut on the opposite side so we could bend it off nice and easy. Bang. He's like, it's getting hot, it's burning me.
Yeah, that's what happens.
As the metal was making, I burnt the kid's hand a little bit. So I give him a little bit of a blister, but I did not touch his finger with the blade at all. They have it, and they haved me for that. It was great.
That's awesome.
And that's the thing, we wanted to also ask, like, the different personalities in the house.
Yeah, they used to call me one man wolf pack because I didn't like.
You were a loner?
I didn't like that people picked on other guys in the firehouse. This was before I really realized what hazing was about,
what the reason was.
And then once I figured it out, I didn't like the guys that didn't understand what hazing was for. So when they would say, "You're ugly," "You look like your face is an ashtray," "You're short," "You're fat," "You're bald," "You're this," I don't like that stuff. I like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you could take from that. Like, if you're not panicking this guy for no reason, there's no learning in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're just making fun of him at that.
So I was the one man wolf pack because I didn't like people getting picked on.
Yeah.
Which was also fun for me. So you feed into things, you know what I mean? And that was that guy, And then also too, the Planet Fitness commercials were out. I lift things up and put them down.
Yeah.
So that was the joke. I was the
lift up and down.
Yeah. I was dumb, stupid.
So it's just with the different personalities, but there was clashing.
Yeah.
Was there any fighting, like anything like that going on? Like
I did hear about fights.
Shit? Like was there like malicious stuff?
No, the only fight I heard about was one taco.
Oh, the chairs.
That ended that firehouse.
Smashed that guy.
That's
the only one that ever came out.
Southern Comfort.
There was a lot of fighting in firehouses because back in the day before I was on, guys still drank in the firehouse. And alcohol turns shit crazy.
Yeah. Same shit, sanitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because that's the thing, it's like it always seems like you see one fireman, there's 7 guys with him. Like it's very close. It's like, was the brotherhood like they talk about that tight? Or was it more
like family?
Was it more of just you're tight because you're in the job, but then when you come out, you're like, this fucking guy showed up.
It's exactly like family, where you
spend a lot of time
your brother,
but
you could also fight him.
Yeah.
But when you're out, so we're at a fire, and we're 3 brothers. We fight when we're in our house, but when we go outside, we're best friends, and we're gonna fight the other firehouse because they tried to get in ahead of us.
I hear you.
It's exactly what it is.
I understand that.
Exactly what it is.
Oh, so you're racing to the fire.
So that's the thing too. Different boroughs do things differently. So on that ticket, on that screen in the rig, it gives you a list of fire companies and who's supposed to be first, second, third.
Okay.
First, second, third engine, first and second truck. That's telling you what it's supposed to be because of the distance from your firehouse to the job based on the streets. Yeah. If I'm supposed to be the first, but the company that's 6 blocks further happens to be going to get dinner, happens to be coming back from another run, and they get there first.
Yeah.
They get there first. So now we're trying to get there ahead of us because they're trying to get there ahead of us.
Yeah.
Queens, a little different. The Bronx, completely different. The Bronx is your first on the ticket. That's your fire.
Yeah.
That's your neighborhood. I'm not taking your fire from you. They'll pull up
just be the Bronx
and wait.
Because the Bronx guys with our job were
Gentlemen?
crazy. No, they were crazy.
Gentlemen, that's the way they
still
start.
do 2 trucks. You would go there, you would do 2
House
loads.
of Pain.
House of Pain, bro. This place you would do 2
18 tons.
It was nuts. And you did it in an hour and a half.
Yeah, because it was all bad stuff.
You fucking literally did it.
Regardless of what it is.
I worked
18
It's
tons.
a lot of stuff.
It's fucking nuts. The guy's like, oh, we're going to go dump this and then we're coming back. I'm like,
And
what?
you don't lift to the garbage, but you lift to the sausage bag.
Half hour, bro. We loaded a truck
It's
in
like
a
lifting a
half.
dead body.
Pack. But sorry to cut you off.
It's 6 foot long.
No.
So the brotherhood's tight. Like you said, you want to get to the fires fast, but like once you're out there now in the street in the eye, you're not arguing with each other. There's no fucking around.
You argue inside the building.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, and it's usually like we talked about
there's
Rescue
no
5.
They're joking.
You rescue with
Like busting chops, or do they like yell at you on the radio, like stop fucking around?
We do as little as we can on the radio.
Yeah.
We do as little as we can on the
Leave
radio.
that for-
That's for fire
The
talk.
safety.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
leave
That's
that for
fire
the
talk.
safety.
That's safety talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
During a snowstorm, they didn't want us on that fucking radio.
No,
At all.
we would bust
And I
chops.
used to
Because you're breaking balls. Like
Listen to
Stevie
me,
Perez,
I would-
he would come to,
Oh,
he'd come,
that
he would
piece
plow
of
my
shit.
yard,
Fucking squirt.
and I would love him, and I would come, and I would make him lunch.
Yeah.
Listen to me, I would fucking abuse them on that radio.
It's all recorded.
Yeah.
Everybody hears it. That's why I don't do that stuff.
I was fucked up in the head. I made the whole job, the whole shift. Fasano was working one night during a snowstorm. Now they're all fucking serious, this and that. I'm like, bro, it gets monotonous after a while. So I'm like, hey, I'm like, happy birthday, Mike Fasano, happy birthday, right?
Yeah.
It's not his fucking birthday.
Just want to
But
get
I know what the chain reaction's gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Every fucking guy out there's
With
three
the radio. Yep.
Three
Everyone
garages.
does it. That's
Three
now,
garages.
Can't be the only one that does it.
Enough with the fucking happy birthday. Goetz, it's not my birthday. I said, I'm sorry. You fucking hooples. He came to, I was in a dive, he tracked my truck. He came to the dive.
Found you?
He's like, what the fuck is your problem? I'm like, bro, it was funny. No, it wasn't funny. It was funny. You know all that shit's recorded during a snowstorm? I said, Mike, I don't give a fuck.
But so there
Bad,
was
it was
no,
funny.
but there was no, like I could see that. Like you don't want to fuck around. You want that to be for the SOS. You want that to be for the guys that got, God forbid.
Yeah, that's a
need
totally
the help,
different thing. When you
know?
guys are dealing with what I was doing was totally different. They're fucking life or death.
Yeah, but you also too, you got to bring a little levity when you know the situation is over. I went to a fire on Staten Island, in Port Richmond. It was a all external fire, but when we pulled up, it looked like a great job. So Port Richmond was there first, 80 truck. We pull up second, 79. We pull up, and it was like it looked like fire escape, but it was actually just porch, like decks going out the side, but had stairs going from the first to the second and the second to the
Sounds
third.
about right for Staten Island.
Yeah, because
Real shit shows.
and that was a way to split that apartment and have twice as many people in the apartment because now we had their own entrance. You know? But it was blowing out those windows, and we were like, "This is great! Like I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is awesome. We're gonna put a bucket to the roof. We're gonna put a guy up there. They're bringing guys on the inside. I'm gonna go up above the fire. I'm on the inside team. I'm gonna go above the fire. Then we're listening to transmissions. I bust open the door. I'm with another guy, Wayne, which is a pizzeria owner on Staten Island. Was awesome, another awesome guy. Another guy that used to break balls. Great cook.
I know him and his brother.
Yes, another nut. So we went in. We went upstairs. We did our searches, and then once we realized it was outside, it was time to relax.
Yeah.
So now
Everybody's out. There's nobody in there.
Yeah, then there's a guy, a buddy of mine that my brother went to the police academy
Now you're
with. This
roasting
guy
marshmallows.
Christensen. He's out the window. He's a little bit more amped up than me, and he's about to come through the window with a Halligan, and I'm in the kitchen, and I'm screaming, whoa, 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 out the window. I rip the curtains down, and I open the window. I'm like, dude, it's a lot easier if I open it from in here. Relax.
Yeah.
Then I'm seeing a little bit of fire in the cabinets. So they're like, oh, use your can. I'm like, why am I using a can? I got the kitchen sink here. I grab the cup. I'm splashing the water. There's no. It was.
Now you're Jesus.
It was fine. It was nice.
Blessing
Exactly.
the cabinets.
Those guys had real fire outside. This was just a little bit of an extension. I was like,
Yeah.
Get me a line up here when you
You
can.
probably turn TV on. Now you're hanging out in the house.
But then Rescue comes up. Then Rescue 5 shows up. And Rescue 5 shows up, and they're like, "Did you poke a hole in that wall? Did you do that?"
Now they want to fucking destroy
They're tearing down the
place.
entire fucking room.
Yeah.
Like, guy, it's not going to skip 8 bays and be in the front of the building when the whole building, well, it's only outside. I opened up these 2 bays. I put 2 10-inch holes. There's nothing here. There's no char. There's no smoke. There's no heat. Come on, relax. Why we got to put holes in everything?
They'll fucking just come in and
But-
tear ass.
To them, that's also
That's their training.
training.
That's what they were trained to do.
Yeah.
No matter they're not. I'm guessing, and I don't know this, but like factually, but they're looking at it as in, like you say, that fire might have went through the wall. Now it's on the inside. You may not see it on the inside. You think everything's fine. You guys leave. Now the whole inside's engulfed.
Yep.
They're taking that to like we got to protect like this from getting worse. So that's their training.
I went to
So I can see
multiple
that.
fires on the same building on the same night.
Yeah, I could see that.
Could have been Jewish lightning. Could have been rekindle. You don't know.
Could have been insurance. Yeah, I mean, It's anything.
Jewish
You never
lightning.
know. That's what I call Jewish lightning. See, I didn't know that. Now I know what Jewish lightning is.
I gotta ask you one
I
question.
thought it was a fast car driving by in certain areas of Brooklyn.
You're such a dick. If you had to tell a new young kid
Okay.
getting on the job right now, what's the one major piece of advice you give him? One thing.
One thing, keep your mouth
What would
closed.
you tell him?
Shut your mouth. God
In what
gave
sense?
you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Just pay attention.
Listen twice as much as you talk, and you'll do good on this job. That's it. The hardest part of the job is showing up. Get there, keep your mouth closed. That's it.
No, and I think that's good advice because a lot of guys that I know that are on the job, they got a cockiness to them, which honestly I think you need.
But that grows.
Yes.
That grows. My nickname was Burns.Say. S-A-Y at the end, because I couldn't keep my mouth closed. I kept thinking I was grown. I didn't need to shut up. I got to ask questions. I got to change things. I got to ask you why. Why? Shut the fuck up. You don't need to know why. You just need to do it the way I tell you to do it. Because this is the way I was told to do it, and this is the way he was told to do it.
Yeah.
So we know better than you. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And if I would have did that, it would have been a lot easier for me in the beginning.
Yeah, and
I
just
made
pay
all
attention.
my own problems.
Well, and it's not even that. You
Think
you
a man's
just
gonna
wanted
admit
to.
that, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, because I saw it. I was also not a kid. I made all my excuses growing up, and I tell my kids now. I says, listen, I'm going to help you as much as I can. I made excuses which ruined a lot of things for me, and I'm going to help you not make those excuses.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick by your watch when you fuck up, and I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
So then that too, with bringing up the family now. So you had Anthony. No,
Michael,
you had Michael.
in the academy. He was
You were
born.
in the academy.
Yep, he was born, and I graduated right there.
Okay. So then, because you just kept having fucking kids. I mean, God bless the wife, but
God
so
bless
now
me.
by
Happy
the
wife.
time you retired,
Yeah.
who was was Joey then the last?
Oh,
Were you still on the job when you had Joey, or no?
Yeah, so
You had
now this
retired
is
already.
listen, this is a good one too. So now I had Michael, Anthony, and Joseph. Those are my 3 sons, right? So I had 3 of them. Then I get hurt, and I have my surgery, and then they don't want to do the second surgery because the first one's still having problems. I can't have more therapy. They say, listen, push me off a year. You got to have more. You got to try more.
Yeah.
I have bone ossification, so I have keloid, so my body overheals.
Okay.
So like if you see all my scars are super thick,
Yeah.
it's because my body overcompensates with like white blood cells and
Yeah.
whatnot. So the surgery and where they put the button in, because I had torn my bicep off the bone, it had keloid and ossified around it, so it gave me tons of pain in the area, and I couldn't really use it right, and it took me
Scar tissue and stuff.
yeah. And then I still have a torn labrum and a torn rotator cuff, and so long story short, that takes me years to get off and out, and I'm done. And now, okay, I go to retirement, and me and my wife, we over celebrate my retirement, and now I have 4 kids. So now I have.
I do
So now I have. Yes. So
When
now
she
I have a
came out, I was
4.5-year-old
Don't
daughter.
even fucking tell me I have another.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, your fucking friend. I'm like, listen, that means he's healthy. That's good.
So I have.
That's a healthy thing.
I have next year. I have a high school graduation and a kindergarten graduation.
God bless you.
God bless you, man.
But how did that?
So we are doing. So this is. I heard this yesterday, and it hurt my stomach to think about, because we do diapers at night and rubbers for my son. You know, they're like, oh. If I'm going to CVS and I'm gonna buy 2 of those, and neither of them are for me, I'm having a bad day.
No good. But like, how did that home like? How was it then when you're on the fire department? Because you spend a lot of days there, so it's like
I
you're
did
doing
3 jobs.
You're doing 2
my entire career.
24s. You know, not even with the other jobs, but how does that reflect then to the home with not being home? And now Erica has 1, 2 kids, now a 3rd kid, and you're doing the New York hustle, but at the same time, it's like when you go to the firehouse, you're there through the night. You don't work 8-hour shifts. For the most part, most of those
No.
guys work 24s.
Always, I needed to, because I
You're-
needed to work
you're
around
gone
2 jobs.
for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday per week. Just
And
say,
I was gone Friday and Saturday
with
night
the other job.
when I DJ'd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would be DJing a wedding, emceeing a wedding on the weekends, which was
Takes
also
a toll.
it was also another problem with the guys in the firehouse, because I was always the guy who needed the weekends off.
Yeah.
So which meant to get these weekends off. If it was my scheduled, I'm doing mutuals, and I'm also promising these guys. So it worked out well for me. I was working all the kid holidays. I was working the New Year's and Patty's Day, the stuff that these guys wanted to go out, so I can get my days off for Christmas and shit like that. But then it kind of worked the other way. You would find a guy who was a landscaper or contractor, and he needed to work the weekends so he could have his crews run the routes during the week.
Yeah.
So they would match me up with those guys.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out. But to break my balls, they were like, what do you need? You need another weekend off? Oh, shocker, Burns needs a Saturday night. I'm like, I'm feeding my family with this. It's not like I'm going and get fucking drunk. Yeah. And then I worked, my father-in-law has a food distributorship business. So I worked and then ran that for and with him on the other days. So I would do that.
Doing a New York hustle, bro.
I was doing about 110 hours a week, every week. But
God bless.
most of those, half of those hours, my kids were sleeping.
Yeah. But did it hurt like that? Like, did it hurt
your family
bothering you?
By you not being
there?
My in-laws lived a couple of blocks away, so my wife was there a lot, which the days I did come home at 3 o'clock, if it was my father-in-law, and then I didn't have to go back to work until 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
If she was telling me I'm at my mother's house, just come right there, then I was furious. Like, I'm spending a lot of money to be in this house.
And you guys are never in it.
And you guys aren't even here. It was making me furious. But then I would, drive away and realize I'm
never home.
Yeah. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? She has to come home. She's getting help there.
Yeah.
She's going to come back here just so that she could go back there when I leave again.
She feels bad, And
she was also a scaredy cat. She still is.
It's hard, bro.
All right, then don't get Erica.
She's a salty earth. She's the best of the best.
The balance all that is
she
hard.
would have everybody in the room door locked.
Yeah.
And God bless your wife for holding it all down when you're not there.
Champ.
You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy job either.
Oh, yeah. No. I tell you.
Know what I mean?
I mess with her all the time. I'm like, you don't have a job. She's like, I have 4 jobs. I'm like, you have 0 paychecks. Yeah. I'm like, that's not a job. But I don't want what she does.
I felt guilty my first couple of years because the pay sucked. And I was working in Manhattan. So I was working nights a lot. And I would work a 4 to 12. I'd come home, go to bed. Now I'm working in Manhattan, come back to Staten Island. I'd wake up in the morning, go work at my uncle's shop. Work there till 2 o'clock, run home, right? Stop, eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and run straight to Manhattan to work 4 to 12. Yeah. So my oldest son, his first 4 years of his life, I felt like I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
But that's what I had to do to survive.
Yeah.
You feel like guilt, but you're doing what you got to do.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I have to do the same thing.
It's a hard situation. It's a hard shit to balance to keep everybody happy.
We had Parker later, and I had time on a job. So I wasn't working granted, I was doing side jobs and all that. But I put all my time in before we had kids. So and I could see where it was getting frustrated when then we did have kids. Wendy was working a lot of hours in Manhattan in sales, and I was home every day by 2 o'clock. And it, turn now it's like, fuck. That's why my retirement's not amazing like some other guys I know, because I couldn't do all the overtime because I had to be home, which I don't regret.
Yeah. That's the thing. It all works itself out for a reason.
Exactly. And honestly, I've been I'm with my kids. I was with my kids since they were born after 2 o'clock every fucking day. And there'd be days where I pick up a job, but on the weekends or whatever, you're doing whatever it has to be done. Somebody needs something. All right, listen, I'm gonna do this kitchen on the weekend. All right, whatever. It's money. You were doing it.
But let me tell you, what your kids are going to realize when they get older, it instills work ethic into them.
Oh yeah, that was the kids did it because I'm still doing 13 hours a day. My kids, my kids.
My whole career, I worked 2 jobs my whole career.
Yeah, my kids do tons of sports right now, and I'm down on 1 job, and I'm still doing 13 hours a day. But I get up at if one of my sons has something after school, not a night practice, I'll get up at 2:30 so that it can be done by 3:30 so I can get to their game. Because I have 2 kids in Catholic school right now. Then I have 1 in middle school and 1 in preschool.
Yeah, well, you gotta maybe go on OnlyFans or something, bro. You gotta make that money.
Sell feet pics. That's what I'm
I've been starting with the lotion regimen. I'm doing skincare for my feet now.
See? It's like Diddy. See, Diddy knew. Everybody makes fun of Diddy because of the lotion.
1,000 bottles, bro. I don't do the whole wax. I don't do the whole shave thing. You gotta wax. You gotta keep them hairless like that.
Hairless.
Keep the pores nice and small.
See what I'm saying?
I'm good. Kurt will find you on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm fine.
He likes the foot fetish.
Foot pics.
Bullshit.
As long as you're paying.
All right, listen. What football team you like? I gotta get this out of the way.
If I had to say, it'd be Jets.
All right.
So
bad. They look pretty good.
This year. They look good this year.
Better than my fucking team.
Yeah, the football season. I just like we had said it earlier. Like even with fantasy with me, especially with this, like this takes a lot of time now. It's like a second full-time job for us, and I just don't even care anymore. I think I've watched like
it's not as fun.
quarter.
Yeah, that's what happened with me once I left the firehouse. Football had its place, and that was the firehouse.
A lot of talk, water cooler talk. Like that's what you were talking about.
In-house fantasy, and putting up the boxes, and it was great.
Yeah.
I was the guy. I'd sit there with a pen and paper and drawing out the boxes, and I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. $5 a guy, let's go, let's get. And it was something to do.
Yeah.
But it killed time.
Yeah.
Instead of like watching the same TV shows and busting the same fucking balls, which you probably still did.
Yeah.
But speaking
And
of
at
that,
the time too, you had
that.
DVRs type shit. So you would get runs in the middle of the game, and it didn't matter.
Yeah,
Pause it and come back.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. So you were able to watch something live an hour later. You know what I mean?
Did you like learn how to cook more on the job?
Oh hell yeah! I love cooking.
So now you love
I
cooking.
miss it. I miss cooking.
Yeah.
Were you cooking before that, or you learned when you were there?
I learned when I was there.
You learn a lot.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, they used to call me the meal Nazi.
Yeah.
But when I came to Staten
a
Island,
pinch of this, a pinch of that.
more like, what do you guys want to make today? Because I got a really good idea. And they'd be like, oh, all right, Burns got it again. Here you go. The meal Nazi, he's going to take over. He's going to bully his meal bully. He's going to bully his way in and tell us what he wants.
What he wants.
I'm like, all right, listen, give me an option. Give me an idea. Well, I didn't think of nothing. Well, when you do, we'll make what you want.
Exactly.
It was just a way of break fools. They were happy that they didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't the same 4 meals. Because you go to firehouses, and those guys make the same 8-10 meals.
Yeah.
The engine, you do 1 month engine, 1 month truck if you have a truck and an engine in your house. So you get a month that you cook and a month that you're off. So when I went to Staten Island,
cooks?
I had
just
a truck.
So wait, only the engine cooks?
So you switch back and forth.
Okay.
So when I was in Brooklyn, we had 3 units in my house. We had the truck, the engine, and the rack unit. And the rack unit is a guy that's on light duty that drives around in a bread van with Gatorade, cool rags, hot chocolate in the winter, and that's basically
fires.
He gets called after the fire, and they say,
like a cooling station, kind of.
Basically,
all right.
It's a cooling station in the summer, and in the winter it's hot chocolate. It's a recovery. It's a recovery unit.
Is he the cook then?
That's it. So that was your joke. So he shuts the ovens off, and when we leave, that was what he did.
Well, so you don't have to cook.
Because he's a light duty, he's a guest.
Yeah.
He's not from the firehouse.
Oh, okay.
He was a guy that was hurt from somewhere else. That's temporarily positioned there so that he could heal up.
Okay.
So you would do 1 month the engine would cook, and 1 month the truck would cook.
Okay.
Is there ever a guy that doesn't cook because he can't cook? He sucks, and they're like, fucking Goetz, he ain't cooking today.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Yeah, don't let Goetz
even
cook.
make an option. So, but you know what though? That guy's the guy in the sink.
Okay.
That's the guy that's washing dishes, and he knows. Unless he's got 20 years on.
So everybody had their place in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You probably had the 3 or 4 senior guys that just read the paper, like you said.
Or they were into it.
Or they just love cooking.
I had one senior guy, phenomenal person, fireman, everything. Kenny Haskell. He had lost 2 brothers, 9/11. Just a great guy, super knowledgeable. Contractor on the side. Crazy good work he did. I look up to this guy the entire time I was there. Loved to cook. Like, made a great sauce, made great meatballs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just guys had their thing. And he was the Sunday meatball. He was a Sunday sauce guy. He was using white bread in his meatballs, and I was like,
that's new.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
grow
using
up
breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And he's like, at home we would use the stale bread. I'm like, toast it up.
So you're learning as you're there. You're learning.
Sucking things up.
If you wanted to, the guys would sit there and you're watching them. You're learning. You're in it. So you do become a better cook.
Oh yeah, we had this guy Dean, and Dean, he was famous for using every pot in the kitchen. They would make fun. They'd be like, if Dean's making fucking hot dogs, he's using 18 pots and pans. He put up
shit dirty everywhere.
The junior guys.
Was it good?
Yeah.
The food good?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then
And he had great stories. He locked himself in his chicken coop. He had great stories. We had guys, since I was in East New York, we had all Long Island guys. And some of these guys were way out in Long Island. You're talking about like horses in
Really?
Farms,
In the prairie.
way out there. Yeah,
Where
driving
Diddy
2
hangs out.
hours in, deep
used to hang.
into the
The Hampton area?
Hampton type.
Oh,
area.
Diddy
Without-
area.
on the not so money side of that.
Yeah.
No, that's not Diddy.
So,
No, he's on a big end.
the rich end. Well, not anymore. He's in pre-jail. So, to wrap it up, do you miss the job? Do you miss the guys, the brotherhood? Do you still have it? Do you still talk to a lot of guys?
I talk to 1 or 2 guys. One all the time. Another retired guy that moved to Florida, Paul Rueda, phenomenal guy.
You talk to the
Great
guy in
fireman.
Florida, but not the guys that are probably still in New York, Jersey, whatever.
There's guys that are around the block in retired firemen that I don't talk to. I talk to Corio every once in a while.
Yeah.
Galucci. These guys are like minutes away, and I want to
Still
talk.
don't even talk to
No.
them. And it's
It's
sad
just
because-
busy. Everybody's busy. I got a lot of
Yeah.
kids. You know what I mean?
It happens.
And the reason I do get to talk to my buddy in Florida is because he works and I work, and we both get up real early, and he'll
Talk
talk me on
about
the way
you
to work.
driving. Yeah.
I'm a truck driver now.
Yeah.
I can't do physical labor. My body is fucked up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I sit
We're all
behind
like-
the wheel and I drive 13 hours. I'm Scranton, back.
But do you miss the job?
I
And
miss.
what parts do you miss?
So I feel now, I think I'm too old to do the job the way I did the job. I'm sure I would have had to
Learn a different way.
change it. You know what I mean? Instead of being a bull, I would have had to be more finesse guy, and I would have been the chauffeur, which is the guy that not typically goes in as much.
Yeah.
He's the one that's positioning apparatus and handling
Hose
that.
and stuff.
Yeah, no, on the truck side. Hose is
Okay.
the engine.
Okay.
We're the tools. So
Okay.
we're saving people and getting into the building, and the engine's putting the fire out. So the chauffeur on the engine side is setting up the pumps and putting pressures together. That guy's super important because he's setting up water.
Okay.
But the guy on the truck side, he's putting up the ladder to the building or the bucket to the building, depending on what type of apparatus you have.
Okay.
Do you miss the adrenaline?
I do.
I mean, it's gotta be a big void.
I miss the call. It's not because I always did so much more. So the guys that only ever had one thing miss it.
Yeah, you were always
Because that was their life.
Shit.
You were always busy.
Yeah. I get it.
My life has always been so many things.
Yeah, you were fucking maniac.
Bouncing around.
Yeah.
I get it.
So just the guys who are firemen, pretty much that's all they do.
And I saw those guys hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw
No,
them. They would still come back to the firehouse. Mike Perone, even though he retired, had a very lucrative fire. So he builds training equipment. So he came out with this door that fire departments all over the country use that's forcible. So we use those tools to get into,
So he's still kind of in it.
super into it, but not in the firehouse. He showed up to the firehouse. He lived in Long Island. We were in East New York. He would drive an hour to come to the gym. He just needed to see.
He
He
missed
just
it.
needed to touch his
Yeah,
firehouse.
Yeah, you wanted to be around.
He needed to touch his firehouse.
Yeah, because we not, same thing with us. Like, not that we didn't talk a lot, but like, me and Kurt weren't like talking every day. Before this, we would talk maybe once a month, like
Yeah.
reach out, hey, how's the family,
So,
how's the wife, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. But there are, if I talk to 5 guys, and it's not on the regular, you're talking, I had 170 guys in the garage.
Life happens.
We're not like a firehouse where you have 20 guys. We had 170 guys at our top. Where
Which makes it harder to develop those tight relationships.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's why, like, when we said in the first couple episodes, you had your clique, you had your group,
the people you had,
your
mutual stuff that
Like I have, the garage I retired out of, I have a group chat. It's like 6 or 7 of us. Those are the guys that I hung out with at that garage. You might have had 180 guys. I was friends with everybody.
Friendly with everybody.
Yeah, friendly with everybody.
And then friends with these guys.
These guys I was tight with. These are my guys. Same thing when I was in Staten Island with him. We had not like we say in the room. We had Nasty 9. We were friends with everybody. You're friendly with everybody. You bullshit. Hey, what's up?
we had 9 go-to.
I went out to work. We had 9 guys that were tight.
Yeah.
Like tight guys. And then even the guys that I'm tight with, everybody left. Everybody's retired. You don't get to see each other no more. Everybody's got shit going on. Even when you
Moving
retire.
Yeah, but they would try, like with our job, they would truly, like, and if somebody would always bring it up, like, like the fine pine. Guys, you are not like the fucking
Yeah,
fine
not
pine.
even close.
Those guys are spending way more time with each other.
Then we
You got the guys finishing in 2-3 hours. Boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, they used to call me the ghost, bro. People didn't know I worked there. was never around. Like, they would say, wait, that's Owen? They would whisper, that's Owen? Yeah, because I didn't want to be caught up in the bullshit. Yeah. There's too many guys with and I didn't know, I wanted to ask you that too, is there that kind of it too, where it's like the chatterboxing in the house, you know, shit's stirring shit up, like stupid, like girly shit, like, we're all fucking gentlemen here. Like, why are you talking behind so-and-so's back?
It happens all the time, and it happens when there's no fires.
Because there's not enough going on.
Yeah, it's not going on.
It's something just to stir the pot. That's all it is. You get the guys and they walk in and they're doing this, and you're like, oh, here we go. And then
Joey
you take
on
it seriously.
Friday night was a shit mess, blah blah blah, and then you know.
Yeah, like he called up, said he's not coming in because he was supposed to have this guy work from, but really he's hung over. Really, it's because he did this and he screwed up that. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and we had that a lot, like but our seniority put us against each other more than anything in our job. And I don't know if it was the same way with you guys, like, because you were making more money. It wasn't. See, that's the difference between us, the firemen, and the cops. Our daily routine was more money. When you pick garbage up, when you had the seniority to pick garbage up, you made $75 more a day. You know, it's big money. It comes down to almost 15, 20 grand a year if you're on the truck every day.
Charts all the
You
time.
know, so when you're not, and then you got arguments where if you could bump a guy off a different route, so it does. We were never gonna get to that tightness.
You want to work in Westerly or you want to work in Port Richmond? Picking up garbage.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
saying?
saying?
From those areas, it's like
Seniority puts you where you want to be.
And it put us up
That's
against
all you
each
have.
other.
Yeah, definitely put everybody up against each other.
It
100%.
Yeah, see, we never had the option to go anywhere different. Your firehouse was your firehouse.
Yeah.
So seniority was, some houses had it for positioning. So like
Shifts.
we had a group chart. No, you had a group chart.
That was
So
it.
it was a 25-man group chart. You worked you had day, off, night, off. And then you had opposite you in your group chart, 12 names away was your mutual partner.
Yeah.
And your mutual partner, whether he wanted to,
Flip-flopped everything what you did, right?
so you could do 24, and then he could do 24.
Yeah.
So if he had day, you had night,
Yeah.
you did the first half or the second half. What do you want to do, first half or second half?
Yeah.
You want to do up and down, which was like morning to next morning, or you want to do the night to the next night.
Yeah.
And that was the 25 minutes. So you didn't have a choice with that, but the captain had the choice on who was going to get matched up. So you could ask, be like, hey, listen, match you up with this guy, it works. So they saw
You're
me.
gonna want two different schedules, right?
You want guys that mesh well together.
Yeah, you
that
want
aren't
that
gonna complain.
same thing we do fucking mutuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
We get along, we're friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna work out.
We're very cordial.
Yeah.
We're not best friends where we want to work together.
No,
But we're friendly.
You
where
respect each other where you
exactly,
know each
and
other.
You're gonna help each other out.
And you're working at your uncle's shop
Yeah.
Monday to Friday, and I'm DJing on the weekends. So you're like, you know what? That gives me an extra couple of hundred in my pocket if I could do this and he could do that.
We're helping each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
well,
sense.
no, and it doesn't. Like I said,
But also,
our
it's
jobs are
totally
different.
just different. They're just different jobs.
They tried to bring mutuals in, it never worked.
Never worked.
Yeah, it was such a mess.
20
I'm
guys.
watching this guy. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a fucking disaster.
At the height of it, there was over 200 guys in the garage. So you know how many personalities that is? That's
200.
a fucking shit show.
It's 200, Kurt.
Depending.
Such a dick.
Depending.
You really are a dick.
Is there anything else you missed that you want to ask Mike? And listen, we appreciate you coming out.
100%.
It's another
Thank
city
you,
job.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Thank you for doing the job.
See, you don't know me, and you do know me somewhat.
Yeah.
To get me to stop talking is going to be the problem.
And listen,
That's always been my thing.
And Mike, and you, I'll tell you
I
this
think we got pretty much a lot of points on
I don't
that
think we
job.
scratched the surface of anything.
No, but that's what I'm
I
gonna
can
say.
talk for too much so.
But that's what I'm
wife
going to
will
say.
tell you.
Now we got into the fireman aspect of it, which, I'm hoping people really want to know. Like when I did the thing with the whole sanitation thing, like people don't know and they don't realize like
What's involved?
the size of what we deal with in New York City and the business, like the civil service jobs. So now we did this. You're more than welcome. Hey, Wayne, I'm around. We film the day we film in times, and we may do other things. Hey, you want to go, Saturday night? Swing by. Just come and shoot the shit with us, like we normally do. We'll add in some sanitation stuff. You can add in some fireman stuff, and then we can just talk about life. And that's the biggest thing, like with this. Like I'm not making this. I never wanted to make this like, oh, this is it, regimented.
Yeah, no, it's not
No,
about
it's
that.
more of just coming and hanging out and fucking
being
shit.
informative, let people like see
Yeah.
what the fuck what is real.
Because I'm sure there is more shit on the fire department than
Oh yeah.
people would
But the
love
biggest
to
thing
know.
is if you're looking to get people in anywhere, citywide, nationwide, just making sure you fill out your paperwork right.
Yeah.
Cross your T's, dot your I's. You know, study for the test. It's the shit that I didn't do. I didn't took it for granted. Whether you think you want it right now or not, act like you want it now. Because if you're taking a New York City test, it's gonna be years before you get a call, unless you're looking to be PD.
Yeah, and like you know, we had spoke about when we took the test. You want the test. You're not in high school anymore, where it's like you want to be done first. You don't give a fuck. You want to do well. You want this test. You want to be a fireman. You want this in like the security of this
But
job.
not everybody's taking it with that thought.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
what we're trying to get out.
That's the difference between you guys who
You
are like, yo, this is what I want, and me who was like,
I'll take it.
I'm just doing this.
Exactly.
My
Like,
cousin,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he forced me to do this. I'm
Yeah, I
doing this
got
for him.
And that's what
Because
we're
you never
trying
know
to get
how
out.
life is going to turn.
Yeah. It's very
It's something
simple.
good to fall back on if you have nothing else. And you could make a great career out of it also. It works both ways, dude. You can do any city job, once you have seniority and work another job. My biggest regret in life is I didn't finish school for radiology, for X-ray tech, because I could have made a ton of money doing both. I could have locked into a shift and did that from my mother worked for orthopedic. She was an office manager for Verdi and Ensalada. I could have did both and made a ton of money.
See, my biggest thing with my kids now, since I did so many jobs for so many years, I want my kids to do something where they don't have to do multiple jobs.
Yeah. Well, you want them to
But
do.
options is key.
Yeah.
Options
And that's
is
just
key.
that's the thing, and having that option of that city job sitting there, and the phone call comes, and shit could just be going on, and you're like, you know what? Just take it.
Listen.
If you don't like it, you don't like it.
And I hate to say COVID. We were working, making money, working overtime. I made more money with COVID than I ever did in any year with a snowstorm.
Yeah, because you gotta finally wash your hands and fucking clean trucks, filthy
I'm
animals.
working every day, 12 hours a day, every fucking day.
Fucking gross.
And other jobs were closed. Some people weren't getting paid.
Yeah, no
But
money.
cops, firemen, and sanitation,
Getting paid.
you're getting paid. You gotta work. You gotta be there.
Yep, I was out right
So-
before COVID, but I was in food service, so I was working.
Yeah. Some people weren't.
Oh,
Dude, when I was going out, when I got hurt, so I'm going to the clinic, Beaver Street. I'm looking at this fucking building across the street from, right? I'm like, talking to the security guy, I'm like, why is it so fucking dead here? He's like, bro, there's nobody in these buildings anymore. Everybody's gone. I'm like,
Everybody's working from home.
everybody's working from. I said, so what happens with this
But we were
building?
the first line. We had to all be there.
I'm like, this is crazy shit.
Top five and
When you
sanitation.
walk,
I can only imagine the volume that Manhattan lost in trash.
listen to me. If you walk
That's
around
why no
downtown,
problem. Yeah.
if you walk around
As long as
downtown
people
by
know.
Wall Street where you
Yeah.
worked, it's a fucking ghost town
Ghost
like that.
Yeah.
You only see busyness up by like where all the hospitals are, where all that shit is, because all those people have to come into work.
Yeah.
Majority of people gotta work from home.
But yeah, a lot of people moved out. A lot of people moved out
Crazy.
to, you know, the sticks. They didn't want to be in New York because you couldn't do nothing.
My in-laws have a house upstate, and we saw houses being built as fast as they could up there, and
Yeah.
people in for
Right.
$200-300 a grand.
Just to get space. That's all they
Shut-
wanted.
To get away, to get
Yeah.
scared, and then all of a sudden they were still working from home. They're 2 hours, 2.5 hours from the office, still making their pay.
Yeah.
No commute, and in a house that the mortgage is half what their rent
Yeah.
was at 3 times the square footage.
Crazy.
The numbers are crazy.
But no, we appreciate it, Mike. And thank you for coming out. And like I said, you know,
I learned a ton of shit today that I
Yeah.
haven't. And I hang out with firemen. I'm friends with firemen.
half my family.
And I've never had this conversation like this
I
I
with
was
them.
gonna say questions you don't even think about.
Oh,
it's-
And
it's a lot of
everybody's gonna have a
shit.
different perspective.
Of course.
So you could come back here next time and be like, dude, Mike, do me a favor, come back and sit with another guy who's gonna be a
No,
fireman
fireman.
and listen to his story and say, holy shit, like he had
It's
it totally
totally
different. My brother, I'll bring my brother in here. My brother was, well, you're always a Marine. My brother's a Marine. Then he was PD. Then he was FD. Got hurt, bunch of hand surgeries. Now he's done. Now he owns a car service with his wife, and he's doing T-shirts because of the Brave. And you know, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He'll have a totally different outlook. He worked with Gustavino on Staten Island.
Yeah.
85 truck, different fireman. He goes
Different parts of the city gave you different parts of the job.
and only one job ever, fire department. He still goes on golf trips with those guys. He goes to the picnic with those guys. He goes to the dinner dance with those guys. He's retired 7, 8 years.
They like him.
He likes them, they like him. But that was his thing, and he's like, I'm still doing it with them.
Yeah, he's still in it.
Me, if I see the guys once
you're
every year
hustling.
or other years,
Well, because you're hustling.
his firehouse, he lives in Tottenville, his firehouse is owned by Farrell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a 10-minute ride.
Yeah.
I'm in Jersey, and my firehouse is 60 miles away in Brooklyn or 30 miles away in Port Richmond.
Yeah.
Either way, I ain't going past
30
that.
miles away is fucking 2.5 hours getting to this.
Depending on time.
But no, we appreciate it, Mike, and we're going to sign off. And remember, be nice to people. You never know what somebody's going
Big
through.
Mike's gonna come and kick your ass.
Thanks, everyone, Mike.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Good shit, bro.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah. Get a load of this.